Goodbye Good Riddance is arguably the best project Juice put out while he was alive, and I kind of want to dive into this and kind of go into the history of the album. The album was released in late May of 2018, and its first week sales did around 39,000 units for first week. And honestly, that's not too bad. I mean, I know Leroy, for example, did more with the release of his debut mixtape, but then again, he had a Juice WRLD feature on there. He has a lot bigger push than Juice initially had. I'm not saying he wasn't pushed by his label, but he definitely had to work a lot harder and a lot more for what he was doing back then, at least. And I'm not saying that Leroy doesn't work for his success, because obviously he does. I'm just saying that Juice was kind of like at a disadvantage, or not like as high of an advantage as Leroy was, just because the label wasn't that known, Juice's situation wasn't that known. But I still enjoy both artists. You guys know that I'm a fan of Juice, I'm a fan of Leroy, so I'm not hating on anyone. I was just trying to point that out. I think a reason most fans, or at least some fans, consider this album to be Juice's best and that there's no bad songs on it is because basically the whole album is heartbreak songs, but if there's anything Juice perfected, it's definitely how to make a good heartbreak song. We've seen it over and over and over. There's heartbreak songs on this album. That's what this whole album is centered around. There's heartbreak songs on Death Race for Love. There's some on Legends Never Die. There's so many unreleased ones. Juice WRLD definitely perfected heartbreak songs, like just right at the beginning of his career too. Now, we all know a big part of Juice's success, or the main start of like his mainstream popularity, was All Girls Are the Same and Lucid Dreams being released, or at least like kind of blowing up with the Lyrical Lemonade videos. Well, we all know that Lucid Dreams wasn't even made for Goodbye Good Riddance, or at least it wasn't released on it. Originally, it was released on the 999 EP back in 2017. This album really showed the mainstream, I feel like, that Juice isn't a one-hit wonder and that he can make more than one good song, and this entire album is a great example of that. There's a lot about this album that we've known for a couple years now. It might not be known by the majority, but stuff is known, like how the original name of the album wasn't even Goodbye Good Riddance. It was like F.U. Bella. There was a whole other artwork for it. There was a lot of other things going on. Juice obviously just came out of a relationship when he made this album, which is why it's filled with heartbreak songs, or at least that's the kind of tone he was looking for this album. And honestly, I think that's why Death Race for Love wasn't necessarily all heartbreak stuff, or why it wasn't originally The Abyss. Juice wanted to show that he could make different kinds of music. Granted, he also met Allie, and that probably changed a lot of what he wanted to put out, at least at that moment, because he probably wanted to make songs about Allie and put them out, just like what he did for Death Race for Love, and we've heard tons of unreleased songs about Allie. Now, real quick, kind of going a little bit more into the F.U. Bella original Goodbye Good Riddance name and like background and stuff, there's actually a Reddit thread, and I'm going to leave a link to this in the description down below if you guys want to go check it out. And also, once again, shout out to Kid Red for bringing this to my attention and just letting me know that there was a lot more like into this than what I originally thought. Anyway, the little thread just reads, apparently Goodbye Good Riddance was named F.U. Bella before release. The skits had different names as well. The intro was F.U. Bella, Betrayal is Bella's Betrayal, and Karma is Bella's Karma. Runtime seems to be the same, but it's likely that the songs were the same too, and then it just kind of goes on to ask if Bella was his ex. But we know by now that Bella was his ex, and we actually also have links to like the track list, the cover, and even Juice actually named the album, or maybe not specifically Juice because he was already signed to a label when this dropped, but the original name of the album on SoundCloud was F.U. Bella. And that is confirmed in the comments to this thread. But I just want to throw this in here. Once again, thank you Kid Light for the news. But yeah, I think that this album, it doesn't necessarily show how versatile Juice is. But, I mean, that's not what a first project needs to do. I mean, you definitely can look at it that way. But I think a lot of artists kind of stick with something that like they got big with, or at least one specific sound for their first album. Because not even a year after Goodbye Good Riddance released, Death Race for Love released, and that obviously showcased everything Juice could do. I think this was a perfect album to kickstart Juice's legacy, and while it necessarily isn't the very first thing in his catalog, because obviously there's the 999 EP, and there's tons of old SoundCloud songs like Hollywood Dreams that I really like, but I still think Goodbye Good Riddance, and I'm sure most people do as well, this was a great album to release when Juice had all the attention on him after dropping Lucid Dreams. Now, since we're still on the subject of Goodbye and Good Riddance, because obviously that's what this whole video is centered around, I kind of want to jump into this thing. Now, there's this animator or just like artist, Skylar Graphics. Link to their Instagram will be in the description down below. They make a lot of cool artworks and stuff for Juice's songs, if you've ever seen them or anything like that. If you haven't, a link to their Instagram's in the description down below. But I kind of want to look at something that could have been Goodbye and Good Riddance, because these songs were all previewed at least around the same time as Goodbye and Good Riddance, made around that time. I mean, this definitely could have been another look and take on the album. And there's obviously that interview out there where Juice says something about how he could have added 30 to 40 different songs on this album and made it a completely different project. I think that this thing that Skylar Graphics made, this Goodbye and Good Riddance 2, is a great example of what we could have gotten as well.
Perfect. Another thing that you should know is I could have honestly put probably like 30 or 40 other songs on the project. I'm sitting on like a lot of music, so it could have been a whole different project. It was kind of hard to pick and choose what songs to put in.
At the time I'm making this video, there's only like 4 of these songs that are on this track list that are even leaked anyways. So this is honestly one of the best track lists I've ever seen. I mean, I don't know if you guys care about leaks or not. I know some of you don't, some of you do. But for the most part, this would be a really cool track list, or this would be a really cool drop if they ended up doing it like this. So starting it off, there's your Done. Obviously, this was a grail for a long time. It ended up leaking. And then 734's Also Think Too Much. This ended up leaking as well. We had no idea what this was, so I had no snippets to it that at least I had seen. So we definitely just were kind of surprised by that. But it was a really good song, and we know that it was like a heartbreak, Goodbye and Good Riddance leftover, because that's what Googly told us a couple months before he left the community. And then there's also My Everything Hotel Room. This is the song that's rumored to be Wandered to LA with Post Malone. I don't necessarily know if it has him on it or not, but that's what Hotel Room is. Love Cage. This song actually features the same beat that Ian Dior used on Who Cares, produced by Nick Mira. That same beat is used for this song. There's Feelings, Tears, Abyss Interlude, which I'm pretty sure is just Ups and Downs. I might be wrong about that. If it is Ups and Downs, it's leaked. But yeah, other than that, I'm not entirely sure if that's what it is or not. And then My Grail Quitter. A lot of people definitely think that this song is overhyped and it's not going to be as good when it leaks, but I don't care. We're not going to know that unless it leaks or drops, and this is definitely my grail, so I want to see it at least sometime eventually. And then there's number 10, which is Girlfriend. This song's leaked. Now, honestly, I don't see this song fitting too well, just because at least if they want to keep the same vibe as the first Goodbye and Good Riddance and kind of like what they had with the first 9 tracks, you wouldn't want like a song about like your new girl in it. I mean, I guess you could do that because there is a that kind of vibe on the original Goodbye and Good Riddance, so this song would fit. I just think it's a little bit weird placement for it to be like number 10. I feel like this would be a good like last song, or at least like second to last song. And then we have Lucid Dreams featuring Lil Uzi Vert. I honestly think this should have dropped. Now, I'm not a huge Uzi fan. I definitely like some of his music, but not all of it. And I think since Lucid Dreams was already like blowing up, it was already big, and it had already been released in 2017, I honestly wonder why they put the original version on the album. I don't know if it was just to help with the first week's sales, or if maybe Uzi didn't have this version done by the time the album released, because it would have made way more sense just to put the remix on the album. But either way, I'm pretty sure this is about to leak soon. I don't know if it'll ever drop because of the issues with the beat and clearing it, but I definitely could see it leaking sometime. Call Me Whenever is a big grail in the community. I don't know if this will ever leak. I'm pretty sure a lot of people have been saying that no one even has the song, and I don't think this will ever drop. But then again, I could be wrong, because Wishing Well was made around the same time as all these songs and that released, so I could be wrong. Toxic Humans is a really good song as well. That's also a grail in the community, and yeah, I could definitely see this fitting on there good. Already Dead. This song, I mean, I really was a fan of it for a while, and then I feel like a lot of people found it and started hyping it up, and now there's just really no hype behind it. But if it ever leaks or releases, then that would be cool. And then In My Arm, which is also bad news. This is a song about Starfire that just recently leaked. I actually talked about this in a different video, so if you're interested in that, you can kind of dive more into that. And then lastly, Gucci Purse is the outro. I actually really like this snippet, and this song's not leaked as well. The only song that's leaked out of the last ones I said were In My Arm. So yeah, a lot of these aren't leaked, like I said, and it would be a really cool album. Now, that was just like another take on what Goodbye and Good Riddance could have been, because of what Juice said in that interview clip, where it could have ended up being like multiple other versions or different songs on the album. It's just cool how, like, no matter what, whether he dropped the original Goodbye and Good Riddance or that track list, it would have been an amazing album anyways. So I definitely think maybe going with Goodbye Good Riddance and sticking with that kind of style was good, just to help Juice kind of blow up and like show and bring in more fans. But definitely once he was more established artist, I could have seen him dropping something like what the Goodbye Good Riddance 2 was, or I don't know. I feel like Goodbye Good Riddance 2 kind of falls more on the line with Death Is to Love. Now, I'm not saying they're like the exact same vibe. I just think that both those albums, or at least what Goodbye Good Riddance 2 had for Skylar, what he had for it, would have been a little bit more versatile of an album. But then again, I'm not complaining about Goodbye Good Riddance in any way. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. If you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And if you didn't know, I'm getting really close to 7,000 subscribers. I'm trying to reach that before the end of the year, so if you're new here, please subscribe. Also, I just made a brand new Instagram a couple days ago. A link to that will be in the description down below. The @ is just Complex Productions 999. Make sure to go follow me over there. I also still have my Twitter, that's @ComplexDiscuss, and my SoundCloud, where I repost your guys' music. You just have to DM it to me on Twitter, Instagram, or SoundCloud even. Link to everything is in the description down below. And also, link to all the sources I used in this video is in the description down below, as always. And thank you guys so much for watching the video, and we'll see you in the next one.